Stories, spirituality, pathways, and aliens. You're here on The Long Road Home.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Long Road Homies.
Welcome, Long Road Homies. What up, homies?
What's going on, everyone?
I'm Emily.
I'm Chad. Welcome.
And you're listening to The Long Road Home.
Yeah, we're here again. Another week has gone by. We hope you enjoyed our first mini-sode.
Yeah, we did it. It looks like we got a lot of downloads, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, we got...
I'm glad that it was coherent. I was really excited to talk about what I was talking about, and so I'm glad that it made sense to y'all.
Turned out really well. I was very happy with it, and we're going to, like we said, put one of those out every week. So be sure to check us out again on Monday for another mini-sode. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a good time.
It was fun. It was a good little release for me, honestly, because like I said, I have all these different things that I wanted to talk about. And I got to let a little bit of it go last week.
Well, we hope everyone out there has had a good week. I invested in GameStop.
To the moon!
I'm going to the moon. I'm holding strong. I don't care what anyone has to say about it. My money, and I'll use it how I want it. And it's a revolution, baby. So if you're not in on GameStop, get in while it's really low, because I didn't. And there's still a chance. You never know.
Hey, Mark Cuban says if you can, get in and hold.
Mark Cuban said hold, and so I'm listening to the Shark Tank.
Never watched an episode of Shark Tank.
In my life, I've
had
never
any
seen one single
relationship with
episode.
Mark Cuban prior to this, but you know what? I trust him.
Yeah, I do too, I guess. Well, because I invested in GameStop, I am now finding myself with a lack of money. And, when you don't have a lot of money and you're thinking about going somewhere, it can be difficult, right? You got to buy a plane ticket. You got to find hotels.
Plus, we got the pandemic to worry about.
We're juggling
the pandemic. We're juggling masks and hand sanitizer and limited travel.
Exactly. Well, what if I told you there was a way that you could go anywhere you wanted free of charge?
Absolutely free. Call this number right now, 555.
Well, this week we're gonna help you get there. We're gonna help you reach a place where you can go anywhere you want with absolutely no money.
That's right.
What are we talking about?
This week we're talking astral planes.
Yeah, astral planes, astral projection. It's gonna be fun.
And the gateway process, y'all. That's right. We're finally talking about it. I'm so excited. Let's leave this realm together.
We've been talking about doing this episode for months now, and we finally, I finally got around to doing the part of my research that I need to be doing. Emily's known about this for a long time.
It's gotten to the point where I would say all of our friends now have looked at this document because I've made them look at this document.
Yes.
I don't think I've left anyone out because I've just been like, anyone who will listen. Gateway process. Have you heard about the gateway process?
Well, we're going to learn about it today, everyone. So let's go ahead and start.
Awesome. First, let's thank our sources. And also, wait, before we really jump in, y'all, don't forget to join our Discord. It's totally free, and you get access to all of the source material links we used in each episode, including these.
Yeah, be sure to join. Like we said, free of charge. Just come hang out, say hello. We're on there all the time.
And maybe people don't know how to join, Chad. So you can get an app for Android or Apple.
Yeah.
You can also use, I think there's a browser mode on
There
your
is a
computer.
browser mode. It's literally AOL Instant Messenger with channels, with different segments inside AOL Instant Messenger that relate to different things.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I really enjoy it, and it's totally free. Create a user account, sign up, come talk to us. Like I said, we're growing very slowly for now,
but surely,
and we're happy if you come in and say hi. Anyway,
sources. Where do we get our information from, Chad?
We got some from Gaia.com, some from Wikipedia, of course, and 2 articles from Vice.com. Guys, that's really all the sources that I could find.
What's the other link there, Chad?
Yeah, so I wrote this down. I didn't use this, but I do want to let everyone know there's a band called Astral Projection, and it sounds like music from N64 games like Jet Force Gemini and motherfucking G-Force, if you remember that old crazy motorcycle racing game that was on there. So go check them out. It's literally, if you like tweaking and listening to drum and bass, give them a listen. It's astral-projection.com. It's great. I was
talking
so silly
about the other one there.
Oh, yeah, there are 2. There's another article from grist.org that we'll post on our Discord, and it's basically someone asking someone, could I astral project to get away from the coronavirus and go on vacation?
I love it. So you're thinking creatively,
silly.
Thinking outside of the box.
Yes.
That's great.
So I wanted to add those 2 in there. I didn't actually use them because honestly, there's a lot. It's hard to find information on astral planes without actually going out and purchasing a book on astral planes.
Well, yeah, that's the tricky part about all of the spirituality stuff. And that's really part of why we wanted to start this podcast, right? Is We wanted to make this stuff accessible. There's so many people within the spirituality community that are ego-centered and are wanting to make a buck off of your need. So you really have to like wade through a lot of different websites and books and people to find like the core truths in these things without being manipulated. You have to be like really strong.
Yes, there are good people out there though. Don't
There
give
are
up hope.
no. There are good people. I'm not trying to say that there aren't, but it is interesting when looking into these different things. Even in looking into Buddhism, there's going to be people that say like,
there are.
"I will show you the way if you pay me $1,000 a month." You
Yep.
know, so
Okay,
But we found some good stuff for you.
well, let's go ahead and begin.
First, before we dive in, I want to say before you get really deep into this episode, it might be helpful for you to go back and listen to our Buddhism episode and learn a little bit about meditation and grounding yourself. Those exercises will be used in the exercises that we talk about today.
Yes, they will. So go check that episode out as well.
Go listen to episode 3, Getting Buddy with Buddhism, to learn more.
Okay, so it's probably a good idea to explain what exactly an astral plane is, just in case all of you listening haven't tried to leave your body and enter a new dimension of consciousness before. It might be a new concept to some of you out there. It seems like there are 2 separate schools of thought around astral planes, although you don't really see one of them today. The first is that these astral planes are a plane of existence postulated by classical, medieval, oriental, and esoteric philosophies and mystery religions. It is the world of the celestial spheres crossed by the soul in its astral body on the way to being born and after death, and is generally believed to be populated by angels, spirits, or other immaterial beings. The idea of the astral planes are what Dante used in the Divine Comedy, specifically Paradise, but the idea of these celestial spheres can also be seen in Inferno. In Inferno, the spheres are actually within the earth, and you move through them as you go lower through hell. So I just want to take a second and talk about the celestial spheres because I think they're super interesting. These spheres are the fundamental entities of the cosmological models developed by early philosophers. In these celestial models, the apparent motions of the fixed stars and planets are accounted for by treating them as embedded in rotating spheres made of an ethereal, transparent fifth element, quintessence. So
restate that for me. So they're saying that like the galaxy exists within a sphere?
Yeah, so there's not only, it's like an onion. The universe is like an onion in this case, at least around us. So there are these spheres of material, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Enveloping the earth, and then enveloping the enveloped, and then so on and so forth. Okay.
And in each one of those layers is a planet. The planet itself isn't rotating. The sphere of material is rotating. So the orbits that we're seeing aren't the planets moving. The planet is embedded in the material like a jewel on a ring. And so then the sphere moves and the planet is just stuck in it and it moves with it.
Interesting.
It's a crazy thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Since it was believed, like we said, that the fixed stars did not change their positions relative to one another, it was argued that they must be on the surface of a single starry sphere. In modern thought, the orbits of the planets are viewed as the paths of those planets through mostly empty space. Ancient and medieval thinkers, however, considered the celestial orbs to be thick spheres of rarefied matter nested within one another, each one in complete contact with the sphere above it and the sphere below. When scholars applied Ptolemy's epicycles, they presumed that each planetary sphere was exactly thick enough to accommodate them. This idea has obviously been disproven, because if there were minerals out in space just floating about, you better fucking believe the coal companies would already be up there digging it out, bashing unions, throwing people in the incinerator for wanting to even start them. It'd be a great union war in space. Right now.
Don't discount that theory. Did we not just recently talk about the potential underground base on Mars?
That's true.
You never know, Chad.
You
Maybe
just
they
don't know.
already are out there mining the space dust
or just scooping it out. I don't know. It is a really interesting idea to me though. I love like old philosophical thought.
It's a great it makes sense.
It was ahead of its time.
It makes sense as an explanation for what they were witnessing, you know?
Yeah, it was. Like, the planets don't seem to be leaving one another.
They're all moving, but they're moving together, so they must just be embedded in
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
So celestial spheres, very interesting to me. It's just layers and layers of these things out in space, and we just, we're like an onion. So there is another idea of what astral planes are, and this is the one we're going to be focusing on today. This view holds that the astral plane is more of an astral world. Rather than being some kind of boundary area crossed by a soul, it's actually the entirety of spirit existence or spirit worlds to which those who die on Earth go and where they live out their non-physical lives. So it's not a path that you cross through, it's a place that you go after you die.
It's like an alternate dimension.
Essentially, yeah. There's sort of like, and you could almost think of it in that layer concept, like we're here, they're above. They are in that extra dimension that we can't really perceive.
Yeah, and I've heard some theories too that dimension or that layer is actually really sitting on top of us. Like it's right here within the same realm that we are within, or like it's just we can't process it or see it or interact with it.
I've not.
No, but that's the theory. That's the theory is that it's right here.
Yeah.
And that's where this gets so exciting because then you can get into the spirit guides and you can get into the demons and all of these other things that are literally supposed to be existing like
right beside us.
I could reach my arm out and touch them if I had the ability to.
Be brushing up against demon peen all day and not even know it.
Okay. You could take it that way, I guess.
You never know. You never know what butt you're touching out there in the spirit world.
Or what butt is touching you.
Yeah, it could be one on your head right now. Just think about that if you're, single. Somewhere, you feeling lonely, just remember somewhere there might be an ass just on top of your face. Just,
some spiritual entity is just
revel in that for a minute.
Sitting
you
on
feel
your
good.
face.
Feel good about yourself. It is understood that all consciousness resides in the astral plane. Some writers conflate this realm with heaven or paradise or union with God itself, and some others do not. So in the autobiography, in a book called Autobiography of a Yogi, they state that the astral universe is hundreds of times larger than the material universe, with many astral planets teeming with astral beings.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty. These beliefs began in earnest through the teachings of philosophers like Plato and Aristotle. They taught that the stars were composed of a type of matter different from the four earthly elements, like we said a minute ago, a fifth ethereal element or quintessence. In the astral mysticism of the classical world, the human psyche was composed of the same material, thus accounting for the influence of the stars upon human affairs. In his commentaries on Plato's Timaeus, Proclus wrote, "Man is a little world, for, just like the whole, he possesses both mind and reason, both a divine and a mortal body. He's also divided up according to the universe. It is for this reason, that some are accustomed to say that his consciousness corresponds with the nature of the fixed stars, his reason in its contemplative aspect with Saturn, and in its social aspect with Jupiter, and as to his rational part, the passionate nature with Mars, the eloquent with Mercury, the appetitive, I don't know how to say that word, with Venus, the appetitive with Venus, the sensitive with the sun, and the vegetative with the moon." So people have been looking at horoscopes for a long time, basically, is what they're saying. People really, truly believe that their emotions were fixed to different parts of space, and they control different areas of their life. I'm not saying they're wrong by any means. I'm just saying it's just been happening for a really long time.
For the listeners at home, I was making a face of them. They might have a point.
They might. I don't know how I feel about astrology. I don't really know how I feel about astrology. Like, I come and go with it, and I don't, it's just, I didn't realize how far back that these types of beliefs went.
Oh, I mean, you know how I love to say it. We could trace it all the way back to the first caveman worshiping the sun.
That's true.
Right? Literally, people have aligned themselves. This is the thing that you're looking at all day long. And then all night long, you're looking at the glory that is the universe, right?
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense that humankind would go like, I was born when the moon was here, or I was born when the stars were here. So this means that, it just...
Yeah. I don't know.
People get bored, man, and we need explanations for things. And the stars offer a lot.
The moon physically controls the tides, right? So, what sort of gravitational fields do affect us? I don't know. And it is a very interesting concept to me. And it's easy to see, I don't know, the more I hear about Mercury, the more I'm like, maybe there's something to that. But then I think, is it a placebo? And we're making our own existence that way because of what we're starting to believe in.
Dude, oh my God, we could talk about this all day. Because I disagree. I disagree with that statement. I have literally been able to go back. Before I knew about any of this stuff, I've been able to go back and look at a calendar of Mercury in retrograde and then the major shifts that have happened in my life. And all of those major shifts have happened when Mercury was in retrograde.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I didn't make that shit up.
No.
I did
That's
the math.
true.
And so that's another really interesting thing to me about astrology is that there are some people who really try to take the woohoo out of it and instead just study patterns.
Yeah.
And that's like what a lot of astrologers do. They just look at patterns in the stars and patterns in people and the way that the different ways
Patterns
that they
are
align.
important. Statistically, patterns can be important. Which I like that more than just I like that idea of taking the woohoo out and looking at something like that because my brain is very science driven.
I mean, you could take this out, but that gal that I follow on Instagram, that astrologer, she literally just said the other day, like, I don't do this, I don't do that. I literally just look at patterns. I kind of treat this as like a mathematical equation. It's cool. I don't know.
It's cool.
Oh man, I'm just getting excited.
I'm gonna say.
Let's talk about astrology.
Okay. So things like Proclus wrote were commonplace in mystery schools and Hermetic and Gnostic sects throughout the Roman Empire, and they influenced the early Christian church. Paul's second epistle to the Corinthians contains what appears to be a reference to the astral plane or astral projection. I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven. Whether it was in the body or out of the body, I do not know. God knows. Beliefs
Third
like
heaven.
The third heaven, and that's apparently in the Bible.
Dude. Okay, so one of my favorite new theories, this might have to be its own episode altogether, but is saying that the Bible had basically been misinterpreted and that we've taken it all very, very literally, when instead it was supposed to be interpreted in relation to the stars, and the 12 zodiac signs are the 12 disciples.
Holy shit.
I know.
What? That's crazy. I've never heard that. That's nuts.
I'm holding myself back. We'll do another.
We're not supposed to take the Bible literally?
We'll do
what are you talking about?
We'll do a mini-sode on it because I'm getting a little
That's
excited.
a good mini-sode territory. I like that. I like your thinking. It's a good idea. So we see maybe the idea of these realms in the fucking Bible. I had no idea. But beliefs like this can be found throughout just about all religions, from Christianity to Islam to Zoroastrianism to Hindu and beyond. You can find, ideas of all this in Buddhism, also the Bardo state. But in the context of these religious and even more so esoteric practices, it is believed that as living beings, we can actually enter into this realm through essentially specific meditative practices. The thought process of these groups is this: through the practice of specific methods, we can leave our physical body and inhabit our astral or subtle form that enables us to move freely about the world outside of its restraints. Think of it as a controlled out-of-body experience, although it seems like there's a bit of an argument as to whether or not all out-of-body experiences equate to the intentional out-of-body experience as with astral projections.
Yeah, so a lot of what I had read, it talks about like those out-of-body experiences as like an accidental astral projection. So I haven't read anything that would say that it's not astral projection. That's really interesting theory to me.
Yeah, there's definitely, I don't know,
like
from what I saw.
There's just people that are like strict around the definition around
astral
astral projection.
It seems like there are. Like some people don't equate like a near-death experience to astral projection because it just happens.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking more of like when something happens and you have that feeling of leaving your body. Have you ever had that feeling of like looking over the room in that way?
Absolutely.
That's what I aligned with an out-of-control astral projection experience, where it's kind of like there are people that slip in and out of lucid dreaming really easily or uncontrollably as well, and those experiences are very similar to astral projection too.
I don't know if that would necessarily fall under astral projection in the way that some critics would say so, from what I've read. And trust me, this was only from one of the articles, so who knows? So take it with a grain of salt. But it was from Gaia.com, so they're into this stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, then I could also see where they'd be a little bit strict around the definition, and I just don't think that we should be operating spiritually in that way. I feel like if somebody has an out-of-body experience and they want to say, like, I astral projected on accident, I'm like, yeah, that checks the box. Like that checks out. I
think so, but then so they just don't. They seem to find like a difference between out of body experiences and literal astral projection, like intentionally doing it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I don't think that you necessarily like leave this plane of reality when that happens. I think that you just kind of, it's like almost like an experiment. It's an uncontrolled experiment where you just have that feeling, that heavy feeling of disassociation. Anyway, let's keep going.
I'm disassociated every day.
You know what, Chad? You know what that means? You're only steps away from leaving this realm of existence.
Can't wait.
Oh my God.
So I know the question everyone is just dying to ask us: how do we get out of these gross ass bodies and start zip zooming around the stratosphere? Emily, why don't you tell us?
Okay. So one popular way is to keep the mind awake while the body falls asleep, or lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming can be tricky. The mind wants to do what the body is doing, But the goal is to take the body into deeper and deeper states of relaxation without drifting into unconsciousness. Yoga Nidra is one method. Also known as yogic sleep, this is a state of consciousness between waking and sleeping, like the going to sleep stage typically induced by a guided meditation, or like a shavasana when you do yoga. Once the body enters the sleep state, practitioners simply quote unquote roll out of their physical form. And before we get any further, I did want to share, I myself have played around with astral projection, and there are certain methods that have worked better for me than others. The rolling out of the body was slightly effective, but not as powerful as one that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Not this one. I haven't tried this one, just forewarning.
No, I like this one, though.
I know. Okay, ready?
If I was going to try it, this is what I would do.
This is what you would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is mean. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do this.
No, you wouldn't do it.
To the poor froggies.
You wouldn't do this to the froggies. In another alleged old-timey method to reach this state, ancient yogis would tie two frogs together before sleep. Once tied, the frogs would continuously croak. A yogi would use the sound to anchor awareness as the body drifted into sleep and either leave the body or enter lucid dream states. If, during a dream, the yogi could no longer hear the frogs, he or she knew lucidity had been lost and could wake again within the dream. So, like, they would try to, like, hear the frogs.
Yeah, it's like a totem.
Oh, man, I lost my frogs. Where are the frogs? And then you kind of pull yourself back into lucidity.
You could totally do that with just about it. You could do
that without frogs.
With
you could do that with any sound. A metronome.
A metronome. Thank you. Yeah, it's literally a totem, like fucking Inception, where it's like is if they know that it's there, they know that they're in a dream, right?
Dude, I forgot about like Inception. Probably has some astral projection, like
maybe
theories behind it.
I have no idea. It's been a long time since I actually watched that movie. There's a lot of crazy room stuff. You know, you feeling. It's deep, man. It's just deep. You don't understand it, man.
Deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, so don't have any frogs nearby? There are a lot of other ways to try and project. Let's take a look at a few. First, we have directions from the Monroe Institute. Bob Monroe, founder of the leading research organization in the field of human consciousness called the Monroe Institute, penned a body of work titled Journeys Out of the Body in 1971, in which he provides a detailed outline for how to astrally project oneself in just 7 steps.
That's all it takes.
And actually, the Monroe Institute is like one. Remember when we were talking about people making money off of spirituality? Do you remember when we were talking about that earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Monroe Institute is like kind of one of those people.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, they have copies of the Gateway Process tapes, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and they charge $1,000 for you to get that program, which, by the way, I found the tapes for free, online for free, so you don't have to pay $1,000. Just join our Discord. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't have to pay the $1,000 that the Monroe Institute is trying to charge you. You can just join our Discord, and I've posted the links there. Okay, let's hop into the 7 steps on how to remove yourself from your own body. Step 1, relax both physically and mentally. Step 2, enter a hypnagogic state or half asleep. Yeah, the best way that I can describe what that state is like when you're at the end of a yoga class and you do shavasana and you're like kind of vaguely aware that you're not like at home in your bed, but all of a sudden you start to kind of like lucid dream, and then someone sneezes in the corner and you're like, okay, wait, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by people.
I'm surrounded by people, but like you're
just drifting off.
You just drift off a little bit, but you're not fully gone. Step 3 is to deepen that state by prioritizing mental sensation over physical sensation. Step 5, incur the vibration in your physical body and relax into its presence. The purpose of this is to gently jiggle the astral body out of the physical body. Step 6, focus your thoughts on leaving the limbs and the torso, and try to do so one step at a time. Step 7, known as lifting out, focus on effortlessly drifting out of your physical body. Okay, so this next one is the one that personally I found to be very helpful.
Wait, let's talk about this for a minute. So you've tried the Monroe way before?
So, and I'll say, there's an app that I highly recommend if this is something that you're interested in, if you're interested in meditating more, and if you're wanting to get into any sort of meditation at all, really. And it's called the Insight Timer app. And it's super interesting because there's just libraries and libraries of different types of meditation, and you can essentially type into the search bar something that you're going through or something that you're wanting to work through, and you'll find a guided meditation about it. So I actually found several different astral projection guided meditations, and there's one that kind of has different, it is so it's called Guided Astral Projection, Beginner's Guide, Astral Projection, and Out-of-Body Experience. So this guide helps you with several different techniques into astral projection. And so this was one of the methods that we tried. We did the rolling method, and then we did the like jiggling your astral body out of your physical body, and then we did the rope exercise. Okay. And the rope exercise is the one that was the most effective for me. The rolling one was super trippy because I did feel as if I was rolling when my body was on the ground, but then I couldn't get out of that state.
You were just rolling.
I was just rolling
over and over and over
so
again.
then I started to get like a little dizzy and was like, I can't
Weird.
I can't do it this way anymore. Like it just felt like the room was spinning around me, but not even like spinning like not spinning like a record, but spinning like a gyroscope, just spinning. It was a little overwhelming.
Sounds like it.
But
I like
this
the thought
one,
of jiggling my body out.
Jiggling your body out.
Like shaking Jell-O out of a cup.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
That's kind of it. It's more like you're wanting to
just laying on the floor shaking.
So you lay on the ground and you enter into this different state, and your limbs start to, like, the more that you relax them, they kind of go a little tingly, and then it almost does feel like there's a vibration that's happening. And once you get into that vibrational state, then you're kind of supposed to like pull your right foot out. Your astral right foot out.
Yeah.
And pull your astral left foot out. But for me, then I personally just kind of got caught up in like what I was supposed to be feeling or what I thought like this foot being removed would feel like. And then I just was back in my body and not necessarily in that astral state anymore. So if you're like one of my coworkers or one of my siblings, like, yeah, I'm a little more woohoo than you thought. Sorry, but it's it's been fun. It's been a fun experiment for me. Let's talk about the rope technique. Next up, we have the astral projection rope technique from the work of Robert Bruce, founder of the Astral Dynamics movement. Which I'm not familiar with that movement. I should probably like look that up before I. What?
What is it?
Oh, I just found a 500-page book by Robert Bruce
That's
about
a lot
astral
of pages.
dynamics.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of information about this in books.
So, but I'm not.
A lot of books have been written about astral planes and astral projections, but we don't have any of those. So we had to, dig deep on the internet.
I don't know what the astral. I'm assuming that it's just a branch of astral projection.
I would assume so. That's why I didn't look it up. I was just like, this seems right.
So the rope technique is regarded as one of the most accessible astral projection methods. I didn't know that, actually, that it was one of the most accessible. That makes sense because it was very effective. So again, you're going to relax the physical body by visualizing each muscle. From your space of relaxation, enter a vibrational state. This should feel like an amplified version of a cell phone's vibration mode pulsations coursing through the body. Next, you imagine a rope hanging above you. So the way that it was described in the guided meditation that I did, you're laying on the ground and you picture a white rope hanging from the ceiling connecting directly to your chest.
Okay. Doing it now. I'm here. Rope's in my chest.
Careful. Don't leave this room. We're recording a podcast.
I'll be sitting on your head before long.
Oh, my God. Okay, so then using the astral body, you attempt to hold the rope with both hands, while the physical body remains completely relaxed. You begin to climb the rope, hand over hand, all the while visualizing reaching the ceiling above you. Once you are aware of your full exit out of the physical body, you are able to explore the astral plane. So the way that we did it was, you're laying on the ground and you picture yourself climbing up this rope. What does your view of the room look like with each step of the way? Picture what that looks like. Now that you've left your body,
looking.
Just start to walk around the one room that you're in. And imagine what that feels like. Leaving your body on the ground, you look behind you and you say, like, I'm going to leave this body to rest while I go and explore. And there's supposed to be a feeling of peace, of like, seeing
I'm just-
yourself.
Just laying in dog hair. I don't understand.
We don't care about the dog hair. We are in a deep sense of relaxation.
Yes, of course.
And then we walk and move around the room. And then once you've gotten a sense for what that feels like, then you can go wherever you like. I should also say that on all of these different readings that I've done and tapes that I've listened to and guided meditations that I've performed, not performed, but engaged with, this is not something that you should do every day.
Really?
It's not something you should do every day. It does take something out of you. So yeah, the theory is that as much time as you're spending in this astral realm, you should be spending equal amount of time grounding yourself to the earth as well.
Fine.
It's supposed to take a toll on your mental health. If you are using astral projection, this is funny because I keep making this joke, but if you're seriously using astral projection as a form of escapism, it means that you've not done the work in this life that you're supposed to have done. So
That's cold.
Yeah, it's a little brutal, but like you should be working on yourself and your grounding work just as much as you're working on astral projection. I'm saying that to you, the listeners at home, but I'm also saying it to preach it back to myself as well because it's an exciting thing to get into. But like if you are practicing astral projection and then you slip into it when you're supposed to be sleeping, then you're not actually getting the rest that your body needs. So take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit. Enter and engage with caution. So, like I said before, there are tons and tons of guided meditations meant to lead you towards astral projection. Using those in a combination with one of the methods above may get you where you need to be when it comes to shedding your mortal coil. Now, I know a bunch of you are skeptical about what we're talking about. Well, maybe not a bunch of you. I don't know. We don't know.
I have no idea who any of you are.
Maybe some of you are skeptics. Maybe all of you believe. I don't know. But would your mind change if I told you that the CIA put actual effort into investigating the possibilities of astral projection? Because they did. And honestly, they probably still do.
All the way to the top.
It goes all the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
Okay. So, we all know that the military has a long history of experimenting on some of its members. So it should come to no surprise that several CIA documents declassified around 2001. That's right. I'm sorry. I just got to say that again. This information has been accessible to the public since 2001. How? What?
I don't know.
How have I not heard of it before this?
Because we were, I was 11 when it happened.
Although I will say I found an interesting article that was saying that the men who stare at goats, that they had pulled some of the information from the Gateway Process document for that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anyway, that was one of the theories as well. So, these documents contain information about the U.S. Army being extremely interested in psychic experimentation. Vice did an article on these documents, but also if you join our Discord, I put the actual CIA documents in the chat.
She did.
So go check that shit
there.
out. They're just sitting there. Please, let's talk about it. I'm so excited about this.
She really needs someone to talk to about this, people.
So Vice did an article on these documents, and in it they describe how from the late 1970s into the 80s, the CIA even paid for intelligence officers to go on week-long excursions to an out-of-the-way institute specializing in out-of-body experiences and astral projection. The psychic experimentation program, which was called the Project Center Lane, interviewed Army intelligence officers in order to determine attitudes about the possible use of psychoenergetic phenomena in the intelligence field. And this is all according to the declassified CIA document from 1984. It goes something like this. In June 1983, Army Commander Wayne M. McDonnell was asked to give his commander an assessment of the psychic services provided by the Monroe Institute, the same institute we mentioned earlier. The Monroe Institute is known for its patented hemisync technology, which uses audio to synchronize the brain waves on the left and right sides of the brain, or binaural sounds.
Yeah, I didn't realize what they were doing there until I read more into hemisync. It's weird. It's a weird thing that they believe is possible through that technology, quote unquote technology. It's literally they're playing tones in your ears.
It's binaural sounds,
Yeah,
which is something that a lot of people have experimented with. And to me, it's super interesting because the more that you look into like the quote unquote technology that they were using or binaural sounds, the more I realize that it aligns with other like techniques that less spiritual people are using. So for example, therapists use EMDR therapy, and they have you kind of think about your happy place, and then they have you think about trauma, all the while activating both hemispheres of your brain. And the idea is that they can retrain your brain. So instead of having this automatic response to trauma, you have more control in your life. You can anchor yourself and go back to this happy place and this sense of peace.
Wow. So
it's really interesting because the more that you look into the Monroe Institute, they kind of talk a little bit about anchoring, and just a lot of this stuff is more connected than I ever thought or realized. And I just wonder if if therapists in, like we live in Bozeman, Montana, if therapists in Bozeman, Montana realize that EMDR therapy has been used to leave this plane of reality.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Do they even know what the same technique is being used for? It's so cool. So according to the organization's website, this makes the brain vulnerable to hypnosis. McDonald submitted himself to the 7-day psychic program the month prior at the Institute, which is lodged in the middle of Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains in a town called Faber, about 30 miles east of Charlottesville. Shout out to Charlottesville. If you're listening there.
Yeah, Charlottesville.
Woo!
Y'all got mind-changing
Go
technology.
Hokies!
Is it Hokies?
I think it's the Hokies. You just made me question it.
I have no clue. I don't know anything about Virginia. Literally lived below it for 20 years of my life. Never been there once.
I got it right. It's Hokies.
Nice.
They're the Hokies. Come on. I'm so smart. McDonald's assessment collected from his time at the Institute formed the basis of a 29-page Army document that featured detailed explanations of hypnosis, holograms, and out-of-body experiences.
He came back with a bald head and a ponytail.
Yeah.
After that
He's
experience.
like, here's the thing. I'm forever changed.
Yes, he said, Commander, I've seen things now. I have to tell you, this is some bullshit.
Man, listen, you guys just don't even understand it, guys. Man, you can leave this plane of existence and we can time travel. It's all just a hologram, man.
Commander was like, send the boys in. Obviously, this is working.
The document placed these phenomena in the context of larger ideas of consciousness, energy, space-time, quantum subatomic particles, and so-called astral projection, a practice that aims to transport consciousness around a metaphysical plane, a central idea in McDonald's assessment.
Seriously, he just came back and was just shouting this stuff like, sir, you're in the food line. He goes
No
all the way
one
to the top.
gets it! You don't understand!
You don't understand. Stroking his ponytail.
I can't blame him. I would be right there.
Absolutely.
Think about how excited I've been.
No...
I didn't attend a 7-day course. I just read this document. I've looked at this document and read articles about this document, and I've been talking about it nonstop.
I've been talking about GameStop for a week. I didn't know about it until a week ago, and I have just lost myself in this event. I would totally come back from this a changed man.
McDonald cited a metaphor penned by Monroe Institute employee Melissa Jagger in order to illustrate the nature of hypnosis. The metaphor says that a normal state of consciousness is like a lamp, which emits light in a chaotic, incoherent way. However, a hypnotized state of consciousness is said to be like a laser beam, whose thoughts and energy are focused like a disciplined stream of light. According to one of the declassified Army files, 251 Army intelligence candidates were selected for the first year of experimentation. Of those candidates, 117 were interviewed under the impression they were taking a survey. The document gives no specifics about the survey itself, but does indicate that the interviewer asked fairly direct questions about psychoenergetics. Individuals who had objections to the military use of psychoenergetics were not considered for the final selection. The document reads, additionally, individuals who displayed an unreasonable enthusiasm for psychoenergetics, occult fanatics, and mystical zealots were not considered for final selection.
I don't think either of us would have gotten in.
No, I don't think so. You know what? That's why we're not in the Army.
I guess so. That's why.
Between 30 and 35 of the original 251 candidates were said to have desired traits, such as open-mindedness and intelligence, that made them suited for the program. Intelligence officers who were accepted to the program were sent to the Monroe Institute. Officers would then listen to the hemisync audio. After this, one of the Institute's research associates would guide intelligence officers into the astral plane. a psychic space in which the Institute said the officers supposedly could heighten their sensory experiences, heal their bodies, travel into the past or future, or even solve real-world dilemmas without the restraints of a physical body. The goal of the psychic session was to make the subject remotely view Mars in the year 1 million BC.
I love this. I love this.
What?
This is so great. This is maybe my favorite part of the episode. It's not even like that much of the episode, but just they're like, all right, son, we're gonna sit you down.
Of the article, you mean?
Yeah. No, this whole.
You said episode.
Yeah, the podcast episode.
Our episode?
Yeah.
Oh, this is your favorite part of our episode.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was just like,
no.
what episode are you talking about?
Yeah, I love that they set he's probably 19 years old. They're like, son, and he puts his hand on his shoulder. We need you to look into Mars in the year 1 billion BC.
Can you imagine?
1 million BC, son. Can you
feel
do it?
so
Can you do it, son?
crazy.
Just shaking him vigorously. We gotta do it, America. It's dependent on you. I get it. I guess it was like the test.
It's the test.
Yeah.
According to the transcript, an interviewer read coordinates and verbal cues to a subject who claimed to see dust storms, alien structures, and even an ancient alien race. So, this is a direct quote.
Very tall. Again, very large people.
The unidentified subject said, according to the transcript.
But they're thin. They look thin because of their height, and they dress like, oh hell, it's like a real light silk. But it's not flowing type of clothing. It's got to fit. They're ancient people. They're dying. It's past their time or age. They're very philosophic about it. They're looking for a way to survive, and they just can't.
I will say, that's not the first or last time we will see aliens wearing a silk-like material. Go listen to episode 1 and 2, Great Aliens.
Yeah, they are often seen in that.
But so interesting. How did he know they were philosophic about it?
He's just
What
digging
what
into
did
their
he
brains.
witness? Yeah.
Inception, baby.
The author of the article claims to have reached out to several military organizations looking for the original 29-page document, but ultimately was told to search elsewhere by anyone he spoke to. The department that conducted this program had been absorbed since then, and the documents associated with it nowhere to be found. However, the Monroe Institute website doesn't seem to mind speaking about the partnership between them and the U.S. Army. More proof can be found in a Wall Street article from 1994. Former INSCOM director Albert Stubblebine confirmed that the Army indeed sent intelligence officers to the Institute during the 1980s. The CIA report outlining some of these techniques is also dated January 1984. And obviously we know since then that these documents have been released by the CIA. You can find them on the CIA website. Sorry,
Cool.
I just thought that was so cool. I just didn't know that you could find release CIA documents. You could just get them directly
Yeah,
from the
anything
CIA.
that's declassified, I think they just have to throw up, and you just it's free reign.
Ray Waldketter, who is described as a personal management analyst, wrote an article for the 1991 Hemisync Journal, reviewing the Army's uses of hemisync technology, which is available on the Monroe Institute's website. He wrote that the Army used hemisync technology for stress reduction, psychological counseling, and enhanced learning abilities of various levels of personnel, as well as training for people seeking officer-level positions.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to me that they used it at all after that first experience. They came back. I mean, I'm assuming for a little while they were working with them.
So, and I will say, I've looked at the document and I've looked at the hemisphere tapes as well. This is not just about astral projection.
No.
This is about control over mind and body as well. There are techniques on here that are supposed to help you turn off pain sensors in your body. There are techniques in here that are supposed to help you fall asleep in 15 seconds. There are...
Boy, teach me that. Jesus.
Yeah.
I roll in bed for hours.
I'll find it. It's on... Chad.
It's on the
on the
website.
Discord.
It's on the Discord. Yeah, okay.
You can find it on our Discord. It's super interesting. It's supposed to talk about like the brain's interaction with disease, and like it talks about eradicating cancer within your own body. It goes into so many different directions from this astral projection realm. That's kind of just the start. That's an experimentation on how you can play with your mind's power and your body's power. And then from there, it just branches out into all these different ways that you can control your environment. And the reason why I think that it's been so... Well, one of the theories about why it's been so not talked about is because it gives humankind power. And governments and people in power don't want us to have that power.
No,
So
they
claim
don't.
your power.
It's true. Buy GameStop.
Oh my God.
Stand up to him. So whether or not you're a believer in this stuff, it's important to remember that the Army did in fact try to weaponize it. These days, it's a little tamer, although New Age monetization efforts do constantly bombard people with new ways to reach an astral state. Regardless of the money or the skepticism by some, this is a practice that has been done for literally centuries upon centuries. Meditation may not necessarily have you shoot out of your body, but a good practice can affect your life in very positive ways. Start there and see how it makes you feel. Then when you're ready, buckle up, take a few deep breaths, and take that flight to Egypt free of charge because, buddy, it's time to check out the astral realm.
Woo! All right. Let's leave this plane of existence.
Oh, man, I'm all in.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
No, you know I'm in.
Yeah.
I've had an experience.
Yes, she rolled.
I rolled.
She
I
rolled.
climbed that rope. I left this realm. We'll talk more about it. If you guys want to hear about it, I'll talk more about it. But I'm a little embarrassed to share my experience.
The closest thing that I ever had to that is when we all smoked mugwort in college, and I had a dream that I was trying to lucid dream, and that's supposed to help. We smoked some mugwort. I just remember I was like, my dream was awful because I was in a big black space, and these two big eyes opened up, and then a mouth opened up, and I got swallowed, and then I shot out of my sleep. It scared the piss out of me.
That's terrifying.
Not a great start.
I had a really crazy dream on mugwort too, and actually, it's really interesting because if you look into astral projection, there are like witchcraft communities that are super into astral projection. There are Buddhism communities that are super into astral projection, but mugwort is actually consistently used as a tool in astral projection.
Yeah.
So, but what I dreamt that time in college when we smoked mugwort, I dreamt that the world was ending, and somehow I ended up in a cave in Africa, like peering out over this plain and watching all of these animals freak out. And inside the cave, I was with like different random people that I've like encountered in my life. They were all in the cave with me, and we built a bar, and we were just drinking, watching the end of the world happen out
pretty
on
heady.
the African plain.
Hell of a dream.
So that was pretty crazy too.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, but I had an astral projection experience. Maybe that'll be a mini-sode. Maybe that'll be some extra content, or we'll talk about it on the Discord.
If you're interested, let us know.
Yeah, if you're interested, let us know. It's something that I love talking about, and I do truly believe in, and I would love to hear your experiences as well.
Yeah, please let us know. LRH Show, the LRH Show at gmail.com.
The LRH Show at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's the episode, guys.
That's it. Astral projection. We can so go into this more. There's a lot of different ways that we could like really dive deep. So yeah, let us know what you thought of this episode, and if we should be covering more astral projection techniques or experiences.
So that's the episode, everybody. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thanks for listening to our mini-sode that we put out on Monday. The support we've got from that has been great. We got a lot of downloads, a lot of comments from friends and listeners, and it's just been really nice. So thank you guys for that.
It's been really exciting. Every time that one of y'all reaches out to us, we just get super stoked and feel validated in what we're doing, and just wanted to thank you guys for that interaction, and let's keep it up. We love chatting with you guys.
Yeah, we're just growing every day. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Go subscribe, hit the likes, help us do, I don't know any of it, just I know you're supposed to. So go, if you've got a YouTube, if you have an account on YouTube, go subscribe and give us a couple of likes on all those wonderful videos I've been uploading. I'm about halfway-ish through uploading our episodes to YouTube right now, so go check us out on there. Just search The Long Road Home.
Smash that like button, like and subscribe, because those are the things you're supposed to say when you're a content creator.
Hell yeah.
Also, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at @the_LRH_pod, and you can find us on Facebook at the LRH pod.
Lastly, head over to patreon.com/thelrhpodcast if you'd like to be a patron. We've got stickers, we got content, we got extra things coming, especially as we continue to grow our community. So check us out on there as well. And don't forget.
Yeah, that's right. We got different tiers. Do you want to be a hitchhiker, backseat driver, or shotgun rider? The choice is yours.
It is. Don't forget also, check us out on Discord one more time. The link is in our Instagram and on our Twitter. So go check us out and join. We're trying to build that community, guys. We want it. We need it. Join.
Come interact with other Long Road homies.
Yeah, come share your stories with us, guys. We want to hear about the time you got abducted by aliens, the time you saw a ghost, the time you saw Bigfoot,
the time you left your body.
The time you left your body and you couldn't stop rolling. Let us know. We want to hear it. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can email us at thelrhshow@gmail.com. And that's it.
Right. That's all the things.
That's all the things.
Guys, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, be sure to check out next mini-sode. Comes out on Monday. Keep your ear to the ground, guys. And as always, thank you for joining us here on The Long Road Home. Goodbye, everyone.